Welcome to the Driven to Succeed Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Olson. And today I have a very exciting and special guest in Mallory Johnson from the Brittany Scholl team.
Hello.
I was very excited to bring you on. And because we actually met a few years ago because I contacted you about some interior design on my own house.
Right. Yes.
Because we both live in Crystal.
Yep.
And so forth. But Mallory has 10 years of interior design, started your own company in staging and interior design,
Yes.
and it progressed right into real estate. And that's where you joined the Brittany Scholl team.
Right.
And it sounds like you guys have been friends for a while, or going back to high school even.
Exactly. Yes. Brittany and I went back. We're friendly in high school, and we weren't even in the same clique, but we were friendly. And then when I started my staging company, I saw her on social media, with all of her real estate stuff, and reached out to her and started working with her as her stager. So I would do all the staging consultations for her listings, and eventually we became really close friends really fast. And all of a sudden I'm like, it just like clicked. It was like a light bulb that I'm like, I love real estate. So it was just kind of a natural progression that I just kind of transitioned. I joined her team, and it was in the middle of COVID, and I had lost my job. And so I'm like, I'm just going to go all in. I just jumped in full time, and it was a little scary.
Well, you took off from so obviously, following you and how I kind of found you was social media. And I watched you guys did some awesome things. You were doing, and maybe you still do them, where you were doing like the happy hours, like the little happy hours. And,
Yes.
And but that's how you get your name out.
Right.
And your guys' motto is the neighborhood. What's that?
Yeah, your neighborhood besties.
The neighborhood besties.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
The BST.
Well, this is awesome. Again, bringing you on, and what our topic that we wanted to talk about. We were trying to make these really dedicated to, helping buyers, sellers. But like today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about like the staging process and design and what you should do or shouldn't do.
Right.
So this is your deal.
Yeah, it is.
So what do you think are some, like, we can start out with this, this is residential, but you did start out more in commercial, right?
Yes, I did. Right.
So
So that was what I went to school for interior design at the U of M, and my main focus, and then I graduated and started working in commercial. But then, it wasn't as creative as I was wanting for my life. So then I transitioned to residential when I started my own company.
Nice.
Yes.
And so let's start with sellers. So, I have had someone recently where they bought a home and they were literally building a new home. And, the agent said, don't spend too much money, right?
Exactly.
And they did,
Oh,
right?
Yep.
And it became a problem, right? Because it went way over top. So that, I guess, kind of going down that road. So if you're a seller, number one, why should they contact you, right? But like, what kinds of things should you do and should you not do?
Sure. It's a great topic, and I feel very passionate about it, obviously because of my background, but now being in real estate, I'm seeing the importance of staging. Even in like this very competitive, like hot sellers market, you still want to be above the next home, the home down the street, and you still want to appeal to the most potential buyers. So I think it's very important that your house looks great. 99.9% of people are starting out their search online looking at photos. So those photos have to look amazing and get people in the door. So I would never recommend like tearing down walls and like completely redoing your kitchen. I think that there is a line where the return on investment is key, and it's painting goes a long way. So your walls right now are like brown and this one's red and your ceiling's black. You know, that may like fit your style, right? Like some people like that kind of thing. I've seen photos.
Hey, I had a gumball red wall when I went to sell my second home, and I got feedback right away. So I had to go, and it was like 20-foot ceiling, so I had to go and get scaffolding, do it all.
Wow.
So anyway, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Right. I mean, it's crazy, but 90% of people can't see past what's in front of them. So they see the walls and on photos and they're like, oh, keep scrolling because they don't want to do the work. They can't see the potential that it has. Whereas if you go in and you take the time and the money, the $2,000 to $5,000 to paint your house, then you're brightening it up, neutralizing it to appeal to more buyers. And it just makes such a difference, even just paint.
Yeah, and in this market, $2,000 to $5,000, and if you get multiple offers off of that $2,000 to $5,000 is easily absorbed.
Exactly. I mean, there are many factors that go into like multiple offers. Obviously, you have to price well and all that,
sure.
And get the feet in the door. But getting the feet in the door is so important. And other projects like carpet, if the carpet in the house is worn and stained, like that's going to be something, that people can. I think people overestimate in their head what something costs. I was walking through a house with a buyer, and we were looking at a house that needed some cosmetic work. And we went down into the basement, and it needed new carpet. And he's like cha-chinging in his head, and he's like, oh, this will be another $25,000. And I'm like, whoa, like slow down here.
Where are you getting this carpet from?
Yes, exactly. I'm like, no, like I have a guy who could do it for probably under $5,000. And he's like, whoa.
Right.
But people just don't, like the normal person doesn't know what something costs. So they, so having those little things done makes all the difference in potential buyers.
Yeah. And some of the stuff that I've also heard too is like clutter too.
Oh, yes.
So like, not everybody can just buy a new house, move into it, and get all their stuff out, right?
Right.
So, I've seen people, and I'm sure you have too, is where they get pods, store as much as they can in there. Leave obviously the bedrooms and the, whatever else, the main stuff that they need to live.
Yes,
but
exactly.
Get rid of a lot of the family pictures on the walls and things like that.
Absolutely.
Open it up.
So for my whole team, I'm the team's stager. So for all of our listings, I will go in and do a full staging consultation. I'll walk through and discuss stuff like clutter, like start packing this stuff, take all the family photos down. It's depersonalizing, decluttering, neutralizing are like the big three things.
Right.
And that I focus on in this consultation. Furniture arrangement is really important. You got to open up the space, make it look bigger, take away rugs in bathrooms and, stuff like that.
Right.
And staging, just even using your existing stuff, it's important.
Right.
And it can make the difference.
Yes. So now you had said something just interesting, just when you were going into houses with buyers, because a lot of people just can't, struggle. That's why I even called you, right? Mm-hmm. Struggle with like the vision, right? So that's the key, what you can help people with to really help. That's where you can actually get into now talking to them about like, hey, let's take down a wall here. Let's open this space up. Because, where Crystal is, there's a lot of older homes.
Yes.
And, in the 60s and before, it was like, as many rooms as we can get in this house.
I know, right? Yeah, very compartmentalized.
Right. The living room was a room, right? The kitchen was a room. The dining room was their own room, right?
Yes.
So, now they're going to such bigger and more modern floor plans, opening walls, but, being able to see that, hey, we can, I'm assuming what load-bearing walls are and everything else, right?
Yeah.
So, do you have, like, anything else to add to that? Like,
yeah, well, I think being a hot seller's market and with such low inventory and everything, I think it is harder for buyers right now. And a lot of buyers do want the move-in ready, and they like the pretty because, again, 90% of people can't see past what's in front of them. They don't see the potential. And so my job while I'm walking through with, buyers, where they may have been able to afford a little more a couple years ago, now, prices are going up and interest rates are staying steady, pretty fairly high compared to what they were.
Right.
And so being able to show them houses that may need a little bit of work, because they can afford this house versus the house that's, already done and beautiful. Yes, so walking in, and I will start talking immediately. Oh, this entry feels a little small, but take down this wall, open up this closet, then walking into the kitchen, it's like, oh, this would look beautiful with, light wood cabinets and countertops, and
Yeah, and you're really giving the setting that picture for them so that they can, hey, this does, because obviously that we can take a house that's $300,000 in like crystal, and a house that's like, $450,000, out in the suburbs further out.
Right.
I mean, they're entirely different houses. Yes, you want this one.
Yes.
But the cost is too much.
Exactly.
Right? But now you're able to do that. So, and then obviously I'm going to plug myself here, having like things that where I can help people on the backside. Yes, can we do rehab loans? Yes, but they're hard to get offers accepted with rehab loans.
Right.
So we don't. So, but we also have other products that we can use, or we can talk about, like, Minnesota Housing has like a great update program, so you can take additional funding for like $50,000 update.
Right.
You might not be able to take too many walls down with that, but I mean, it goes a long way.
It does.
Updating a kitchen and a bathroom, if we're just putting new countertops, backsplashes, and flooring, things of that nature, you can do that.
Absolutely, and you're making it your own versus walking into something that may be already done, but those countertops, not what I would have chosen, right? Or
right.
And then you're doing the work, you're making it your own, and you're building your own equity.
Yeah, and that goes good for sellers too. Again, because I had some sellers that they they put new flooring in, but it didn't like go with the wall at all. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why did you spend that kind of? I'm not going to say that to my clients at all,
not.
but and this is lighthearted, of course, but that's why using people like you with your experience is awesome. So. Now, Mallory, so the other parts of like this podcast, what I like to do is, besides just getting to know you and your business, and so is it as really like getting to know you though. So you have a couple of kids.
I do.
Right?
Yes. Maverick is 7 and Macy is 5. And Maverick is almost 8, a couple weeks. Yeah, so they keep me busy.
I was going to say, you're busy, yeah.
Yeah, very busy all the time, running around to different activities.
And going back to your business, because again, you're neighborhood besties, right? So you do really focus on where you are, buying and selling. Of course, I'm sure you'll take an agent, or not an agent, a seller from anywhere, or a buyer from anywhere.
For sure.
If they're moving out of the area, you'll take them, within a reasonable distance, not 4 hours away, maybe.
I've done that though.
Okay. hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Hey, you got a $500,000 cabin on a lake 4 hours away. You're going.
Yep, I'll take you. Let's go.
And then I've seen some like you've done like the ice cream in the park and some other things that these are just awesome things that you do, and for client appreciation and. But building your business.
Thank you. Yeah, our team really likes to focus on being a part of the community and giving back and coming from a place of, love.
Right.
And wanting to, and we don't say, your neighborhood bestie, your real bestie in real estate. We don't take that lightly. We actually want to be your friend. We want to, be part of all the big things in your life. And once we sell you your house, we're not going away. Like
right.
we're there. So.
And that's great, and I think over the course of the last year and how many podcasts that we've had, and I've always brought it back to is like, why did I get good at what it's empathetic with the buyers, right? And
Absolutely.
their needs, and then building those relationships. Now, you on the front end as the agent, you get a lot more face time than a lender does. Like,
Right.
I mean, I literally built a company so I could do more, not just Zoom meetings, but virtual, like from the beginning.
Yeah.
So I can get to see people. They could see me. They get to know the real me just instantly. But
Mm-hmm.
you get that FaceTime and being able to be out with your people and then growing those relationships. It's so important.
It is so important. That's why like the cold calling, that kind of stuff is really hard for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm
right.
like, I just want to see your face. I just
Right,
want to talk to you in
right.
person.
Yeah, it's all God. I mean, that's how I got my start, was cold calling and like, hey, you did an application like a year ago, but we talked to you and I can still call you. That's not how it
I
went, but
know. Yeah, but it makes it hard. Yeah, for
right.
sure.
So, but yeah, and I'm very more of a hands-on networking. I love that kind of part of it, and obviously you do too. And
Yes.
you got your face on a couple of benches in the area now, the bus
Yep.
benches and so forth.
Yeah.
So
Join the Crystal Crime Prevention Board.
yeah, right. There we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Trying to get in there.
Yep. And just doing those events and being with your buyers. And too many times I've seen and dealt with some agents that just maybe they've done it for so long that and they just it's just kind of churn and burn.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
And I think it's more important as we go forward, specifically with the younger buyers, that that's not what they want.
Right.
That, at all, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because the iBuying programs and all these, like 5-6 years ago, they said they were going to put agents out of business, right? 10 years ago, they said digital applications are going to put loan officers out of business. And, I'm actually trying to raise money for my company right now. And they keep saying this. And I'm like, do you realize that that is not what the people want? This is what these talking heads over here said, this is what's going to happen. And in some shape it has. There's a certain segment that says, I don't need anybody. I can do it all myself. I'm smart enough. I can just do this and blah, blah, blah. It does exist. But that's like 15% of the people.
I agree. Yeah, people want those relationships.
Yeah.
They want the face-to-face. They want somebody that they can go to that they trust.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's why, I was excited to bring you on, because I could see that passion that you've had, in your first couple of years in the business and being successful as you are. So
thank you.
It's been interesting for me in my career, because put it this way, I mean, 10 years ago, I would have never pictured myself being in mortgage or the real estate side of, of anything, and now I'm way into it, which is fun. And, did you see yourself 10 years ago being a real estate agent?
For sure not.
Right. It's funny how life, turns, and, you went from commercial to residential to, hey, someone I know in my area to like, really like hitting it hard.
Yeah, exactly.
And, and using the avenues that we have today, such as social media and so forth.
Oh, yeah. I think that social media in our business is so important. Just being present and out there. And I feel like most of my business has come from, social media.
Right. I mean, if you think about it, if you just had to, if that wasn't even, social media, you can say it's good or bad in so many ways, right? But it is such a good way for people to really embrace and then move forward, like in meeting their clients and building those relationships from the day one on there.
Right.
And again, that's part of why I have you on this here, is to get a little bit to know you and what you're about, and and having people understand and see that, like how, having a good staging process, or having someone that can show you those abilities when walking into a new home.
Absolutely.
And so forth.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're keeping this short today, but it's been awesome to have you. What's the best way for people to contact you? Just right on your social media?
Oh, yeah. Social media. Follow me on Instagram, Mallory Johnson Realtor. I'm on Facebook. That's probably the easiest way. And My email is mallory@yourbstfriends.com. And our website is yourbstfriends.com, and you can look up our team.
Yeah, and we'll be putting all that on all of our marketing that we go out.
Perfect.
So you'll be able to see it, and we'll be sending you your stuff too.
Great.
But if anybody has any questions for Mallory about staging, that they're thinking about selling a home, please reach out, contact her. Reach out to me if you have any questions on the lending side, of course. But I appreciate you coming on.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Look forward to seeing you here in the near future, because I am looking to do another bigger event with a lot of real estate agents. So
I am so there.
Grow networking, kind of a mastermind at the end of finishing out 23 strong and looking what 24 is going to be like.
Perfect.
And so forth. But again, reach out to Mallory with any of those questions. Like and subscribe. If you have any subjects that you would like that's other than staging and some of these other topics we've discussed, please let us know. I'd love to speak with you all. But thanks again.
Thank you.